Hey Posh Hearts, it's Simone here, and I am super excited to talk to you guys today about our businesses and the landscape of our businesses. And this is the last of this month's series on Back to Basics. So if you missed any of our trainings on the Back to Basics stuff, if you're liking any of this, let me know. But if you missed any of it, they're all recorded. You can find them in our team page. You can find them on my YouTube channel. It's all very accessible however you guys want to find it. So if you guys have questions on any previous trainings, feel free to reach out and let me know. If you guys want trainings on anything else, anything specific, I'd love to hear it. If you guys want some, I don't know. We're going back to basics, specifically because our starter kits are focusing on the 3 steps, right? And we are talking about how we can sort of go back to basics with our businesses and our approach to things with the how, why, or the why, how, what, right? And we talk about this a lot with how your why is super important, and knowing your why and communicating your why with others is going to be very beneficial to your business. And then, so if you guys don't have a why yet, definitely get one put together. I think it helps to kind of have it written out, just so even if it's for you, even if it's just a dream board or something, so that you remember why you're doing this, because that's super important. One of the most important things to keep in mind is that this is, at the end of the day, why are you doing Posh? Is this something that you want to do for fun? Is this something you want to do on the side? What's your ultimate goal? And your why Posh is going to really help you get there. Now, when we talk about the landscape of your business and we're talking about what to expect with your business, this is where your why really comes into play, and why it's so important to remember what your ultimate goal was with Posh. Even if, I mean, it doesn't have to be like a big thing. It doesn't have to be like, I want to pay off my mortgage. It can be as little as, I want to be able to buy Starbucks and not have to feel guilty, or I want to be able to afford my, like pay for Posh and be able to pamper myself. Like, it can be just, it doesn't have, everybody has different whys, and what's awesome about our team is that everyone can succeed however they want to with their whys, and which is why, again, why Posh Hearts is a thing, is because with however much you want to put into it, you can do it with your whole heart, right? Posh your heart out was the initial team name, and that's where that kind of grew from. So I want to really, really focus on that fact, okay? Keep that in mind. Keep in mind why you're doing this and what your ultimate goal is. And again, it doesn't have to be huge. It could just be so much as, I want to have fun, and I want to have as many posh products as I possibly can. And then keep that in mind as you're going through your business, okay? Now, the reason why this training is called The Landscape of Your Business is because I have done a previous training on this that was based off of someone else's training, where we liken our business to a garden. And when I first heard this whole metaphor, I loved it, and it really spoke to me, and I feel like this is a really great time to kind of go over it again, just because new catalog, we're going to go into our second month we have 2 months of the new catalog, and we are, spring is coming, or here, depending on where you are. But the landscape of your business is something that everybody goes through. You have your ups and your downs, and you have your your busy periods and your non-busy periods. Every business has seasons, okay? Every consultant has seasons. That's the same with your life, right? Some days are better than others, and your business is going to be very much like a garden, where initially you're gonna take the time and the effort to plant those seeds, and you're going to get your garden ready to go. You have to weed it, you have to prep it, you have to do all that fun stuff to get it going, right? And that's where building your business comes into play, and that's where starting your business comes into play. That's like the similar to you getting your starter kit, right? That's you deciding you're going to do this, I'm going to start this, and deciding what you're going to do with it. Now, you're going to plan out your garden, right? You're going to plan your business, which many of you guys probably already have, or unintentionally have, where you're like, okay, well, I'm going to try this. I ended up liking it. I'm going to share this with people I love. I want to hand out samples of this, this, and this. I want to sample it this way. I'm going to do mini facials. I'm going to hit my props. I'm going to do a party. I'm going to do a launch party, right? This is all of your planning that comes into play, right? So this is you planning your business and the ways that you're going to succeed. Like, what are you doing to do that? I just listed off a bunch of different things, and that's you prepping your garden. That's you deciding the tomatoes are going to go in this corner, and I'm going to plant the whatever seeds this time, and I'm going to put one squash plant or whatever because squash takes over. You have to prepare. You can't just throw in a bunch of things and hope it works, which, I mean, you can, but you don't know what's going to grow and what's not going to grow. So having some sort of preparation is going to really help you with that. Even if you have been around for a while, that doesn't mean that you can't start now. You can get your systems in place. You can get your, maybe there's an idea that you've been seeing around or you've had, but you've never really thought fully about it. This is a great time to get to doing that. Get to thinking about it. Maybe you've wanted to do mini petty packs and you've just never really sat down to do it. Try it out. Maybe you want to do the baskets and gift baskets and offer posh boxes and all that fun stuff, and just have never really fully, thought the idea through. Sit down and think it through. Just pick one idea and plan. Do some planning for it. What do you need for your mini facial packs? What are you sampling out? How many do you think you're going to sample out? Maybe you're going to do a sample of the month club. How are you going to do that? Are you going to give out, like how you're going to prep that? You're not going to just be like, I'm going to give samples to every single person that fills this form out, because what if 50 people fill out that form? And you have to ship to every single one of them. That's a lot of money, right? So you need to prep and plan and decide how you're going to do things. So that is where your first stage of planning comes into play. Now, going back to the garden metaphor, and the reason why I do this is because I feel like it's super easy to remember and something that really makes sense. Once you've done these things, so once you've planted all your whatever you've decided to plant, so your plants, your seeds, whatever, you have to foster them, right? You have to take care of them. You have to water them. You have to thin them. You have to weed the garden. You have to cover them in case of freak hailstorms or something, right? Like, there are things that you need to do to help your garden continue to grow. Fertilizer, I don't know, all that fun stuff. I'm not a huge gardener, so I'm trying. But so there's that, right? So that's going to be how what you're doing in your business with follow-up and following through with the plans that you have in place. If you're going to say you're going to sample something out, you're going to sample that thing out. If you've planned to offer posh boxes, this is the time that you're going to start, prepping them, putting them together, packaging them up. If you're doing if you're signing up for events, this is when you're doing your events and when you're, actually having them, okay? Now, fostering, right, and then maintaining your garden. Basically, maintaining your garden is maintaining your business. This is where follow-up really, really comes into play, because handing out 1 billion samples is not going to mean anything if you do not follow up, okay? Passing out a bunch of catalogs or samples or anything with no information on them for them to contact you is not going to help. Doing an event and not following up with any of those people there, or having some way to have some contact with these people, right, with a giveaway slip or something, that's not going to help you. If all you do is that little thing then, so the half hour you spend doing whatever it is that you're doing for your business, and then never going back to it again, is not going to help you. That is like planting your tomato plant and never going back to it and expecting the weather to water it for you. I know this can be like, come on, what do you, but that makes sense though, yeah? You have to do these things. You have to maintain whatever thing that it is that you're doing. Whatever you've decided to do for your business, it doesn't mean anything, and it's not going to grow or, be beneficial to your business unless you do something about it, unless you maintain it and make sure that you are fostering it. Don't start a VIP group and then never post in it. Don't start something and then never finish, basically. You got to keep going. Or if you think you've finished, maybe you haven't finished. Maybe there's something else that you need to be doing. Maybe you need to fertilize it. Maybe you need to have a new idea. Like your VIP group. Maybe your VIP group is dead. Well, what do? Well, maybe you need new blood. You need to get into your cold market. You got to find a way to reach out to people that aren't in your VIP group and get them in there, and then have some sort of interaction, like posts scheduled, so that you can interact with these people. Not just sale posts every single time that you post, but posts like you trying the products, you actually using the products, their opinion on things. It doesn't always have to be Posh related, So, okay, so there's that maintaining aspect, okay? And then we've got our, the fruition, right? You've got time to harvest. This is when things are happening, right? Things are actually, hold on. So things are actually happening. You're seeing the fruits of your labor. You're seeing tomato plants. You're seeing blooms and blossoms and all that stuff. This is when it's happening, right? You're like, oh my gosh, that sample that I sent out, they bought it, whatever it was. I called them up, or I asked them what they thought about it. They loved it. They wanted to try it. The person that I asked to host a party, they decided to host a party, and and it can spiral and it can snowball, right? And this is when you're like, yes, and this is like the peak of your business, and you're like, everything that I've ever done, it's done something. Like and you're super excited, and you're really, really excited for the growth of your business. You have people joining, you have people hosting, you have people purchasing, you have people contacting you for samples, people who are like, hey, I've heard this stuff is good, can I try some? When they're like asking you, can they try stuff? And you're like, yes, please, I would love you to, yeah? Okay, so that is when you have the peak of your business, okay? But that's not sustainable, okay? This is where it's hard. Because you have that high, and you have that, I'm on top of the world, my business is amazing, this is all awesome and great and amazing, blah, you're super happy, everything that you've done, your mini facials are working, your sample of the month club is like the best thing that's ever happened to your VIP group or something, right? So what happens then when you have the end of the season? What do you do when you've hit that peak and you've hit that height of harvest time, and then winter hits? Winter is coming for any Game of Thrones fans. What do you do? This happens to everybody. And some of you guys might be going through that right now. Some of you guys might struggle with this more than you want to talk about. But every consultant goes through this period where it's the decline, and things aren't happening. Maybe you've been getting consistent numbers, qualified consistently, or recruits consistently, or parties or something, but then something happens, you don't know what, but all of a sudden you can't get sales in. You're not even able to get people to respond to you or something. I don't know. It's something where you're just like, hey, what's happening? I've lost my mojo. And this is where this training is here for, and what I want to stress to you guys is that this happens to everyone, okay? And it might happen more often than once a year, more than just winter coming and you're like depleted and you have no idea what to do because it's winter and it's cold, you can't plant things, you don't know what to do. Everything is just downhill, yeah? Everyone hits this. Everyone hits the wall. Everyone has been in a slump or is in a slump, or, but the part that is important is what you decide to do about it. Okay? This is the kind of the turning point, and what's going to keep your business going is what you decide to do with it. I mean, it might be great like the first like 90 days of your you might be somebody who had so much success for the first 90 days because it was new and all your warm market was super happy and super excited. But then after your 90 days and you've hit your props, and then you're like, well, now what? Well, you gotta keep going, right? You gotta find something else to do. And you might have to change your strategy. But again, this is why your posh why and your reasonings, the reason why you're doing posh, your why posh, and your goal come into play. Because if your goal was to do it for a minute and then be done with it, then that's awesome. That's great. Whatever, good for you. And if you're happy about that, that's awesome. But if you want to continue on with all of, this business and this posh family and all that stuff, then you need to think about what you can be doing to get out of that slump and to prepare for next season. Okay? What can you be doing now that can help you get your next gardening season ready to go? Okay? And I'm glad, see, that's the thing, is that this is where like, this is, I guess, the turning point of as a business owner, okay, is it's easy just to let things go and to let things just fall off and to let things slide. It's another thing to really take your business and change the way that you look at it, or change something that you're doing, or throw yourself into it even when you feel like it's all over. Because it's not over. We have seasons, okay? Everybody does. And it's one of those things where maybe it's just unexplainable. You just can't even, 1 month you might have 1,000 in PV, and then the next month you're like, I can't even hit 200. Like, what is going on? And maybe you have the same amount of parties, and maybe you have the same amount of hostesses and events and stuff, but for some reason it's just not working. That doesn't mean that it's over. Maybe you're in the planting stage, in the prepping stage for your next season, because even if you are down and feeling like what you're doing isn't working, that doesn't mean that it isn't working. It just means that you haven't seen the harvest yet, okay? Does that make sense? I know it's not, this training isn't meant to be like a downer or anything like that, but it is something that I want to just really, I find it really important to tell people and to let everybody know that everybody has these moments. Everyone has those moments where it's hard, and they might be throwing everything they've got at this and not seeing it. Not seeing the oh my gosh, the harvest, the gold at the end of the rainbow. They just don't, you're not seeing it. And so it's hard to keep going. It's hard to continue to be like, I love this, when you're feeling like you just keep going and going and going and you're not getting anything in return. And something that I really want to ask you is, are you doing everything that you can? Like, if you're really down on it and you're down about it and you're feeling like everything you're doing isn't working, is there something that you can be doing to help you get out of this slump? Are you doing follow-ups? Is that something that you just kind of, push aside that you're going to do later but you never do? Maybe you have to do the follow-ups. Maybe you've got to do something a little bit different to help you through it. Maybe you have exhausted your warm market and you really know that you need to get into cold market. What can you be doing to get into the cold market? And this is the part where you as a business owner gets to decide what you're going to put your effort into and what is an excuse and what isn't. Okay? What is it that you can be doing but are making an excuse not to do? And then what is it, and then and then to also evaluate, is what you're doing working? If it's not working, maybe it's time to shift gears. Maybe you have exhausted your warm market and you've exhausted your sample of the month club, or exhausted I don't know something that you're doing that isn't working. Maybe like your Posh boxes. Maybe your Posh boxes were really awesome, but they're kind of fizzling out, and they're not as good as they were. So you got to shift gears. You have to think about what else can you be doing, because that's the thing about your business, is that you and I guess going back to the garden metaphor, that's where things change. Each season you got to rotate your crops, right? Because you can't always grow tomatoes in one section. It sucks out all the nutrients of that soil. So you have to rotate, and you have to do different things in different spots. Or, well, you should do those in different spots, because that keeps your soil healthy, and it keeps your garden healthy. So put that into your business, and think about, well, maybe mini facials are out because my entire warm market has their face routine down, and I need to start sampling something different or trying something different to do. Okay? And I'm throwing out random examples, but hopefully this helps. And I'm glad it's putting things into perspective for you, Charlie. Like, I know how hard it is. Let me tell you, like, I tell you guys this a lot, but I've been doing Posh for more than 5 years now. And if I had quit, or just stopped or completely neglected my business, I would have been done long, long ago. Okay? And then I wouldn't have met all of you guys and all of the amazing Posh Hearts and consultants and just everybody. I would not have been where I am if I had just given up when it was hard. And it's not like it was hard once, it was hard a lot. And what really helps is reaching out and talking to someone about it, shifting gears and thinking what else can you do? So basically brainstorming and reinventing your approach. And like I said, reach out. Talk to people about it. Talk to your Posh family. Talk to somebody so that you don't feel like you're alone, because you're not alone in this. There are so many consultants and business owners that have been through all of this. It's hard. If it wasn't, yeah. And then an accountability partner, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, if you have an accountability partner, even not, like, even if you just, like, even if that scares you, the idea of having an accountability partner, find a friend. I'm sure we have so many amazing consultants that have become friends through our Posh team pages and all that fun stuff, and reach out to somebody and just be like, I just don't know what to do. Or I want to think of different ways, or you can brainstorm, or you can, there are so many different ways for you to continue and to shift gears and to kind of think outside of the box a bit of what you're doing that maybe someone else is really good at, but you haven't considered yet. And this is where you get to decide what you're going to do in your slumps and when you've hit a wall. It's up to you if you want to keep going, because no one's going to make you, and no one's going to know how to help you, or if you need help, if you don't reach out and ask. Okay? Does this help anybody? I hope it does. Let me double check that I'm not missing any comments, because sometimes I don't see them all. Yeah. So, okay, I didn't miss anything. Awesome. Yeah. So that's kind of my biggest things about this, is that everybody, okay, I'm glad it's been helpful, Andrea. Okay. And like I said, everybody's different. It's not like you're going to be good for the first, not everybody has the same seasons or the same, periods of time. Some people are going to they're going to hit that wall sooner or later or whatever. And you got to keep in mind, your why Posh, your goal why you're here and why you want to keep going. Okay? I am going to jump off unless anyone has any questions. If you guys have, excuse me, if you guys have questions, feel free to post them. And this is, like I said, the end of our Back to Basics training. So if you guys want to see anything in the future, let me know. Next week we're going to be doing a mock Facebook party for the 30-minute Facebook Live in the 30-minute Facebook Live format. So be sure to check that out. I will have more information for you guys later. But if you guys missed any of the Back to Basics stuff and kind of want, and you're new, or if you want to just, or you've been around for a while and you want to go back to basics, go check out all of the previous trainings on this, because we have them on the team page, we have them on my YouTube channel. And if you guys have questions on things and you don't know what to do, there are so many different trainings out there from all different kinds of consultants that might speak more to you. Maybe somebody talking about something, about recruiting is going to change your mindset a little bit, something that I haven't said yet. So definitely look for the different trainings that are available. There's a lot of resources out there for you guys. So if you're in a slump, try something new. And just keep in mind that you're not alone in this at all. Everyone's got seasons. We all have ups and downs, and it's just part of the business, and it's part of the life of a business owner, and it's up to you what you guys decide to do with it. So I am going to get off. Thank you guys so much for joining. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for letting me talk to you guys and just letting me be part of your Posh journey. It really is the best thing about being in part of Posh is the family. So again, if you guys have questions, feel free to reach out to your sponsor, reach out to your team page or me or whatever, and let me know if you guys have any questions, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great night.